Hi, Jen.
Okay. The stream's on. If anyone's online, we'll get started in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Not a lot, for sure, I'm sure.
Welcome, Jen.
On point.
Yep. Wait. Yeah, sorry, yes.
I also just wondered on Matthew's last name. Where is it?
I
No.
was gonna say,
It's
That's
really
very
tricky.
Okay, Matt is that, the other one.
Also, don't let me say Matthew Harris.
Atlanta's like, oh.
My mistake.
It's really tricky.
It's fine. That's where I went wrong.
Talking about that. It's not always the case.
No, it's totally not. It's totally not.
Yeah.
Which is the case
With Marcy, yeah. I at least put the correct last name. I just added an extra letter to it.
Shelby, what website did you find the?
I was looking it up right now. I've got it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And my computer's not really used for much else.
Okay, I will rely on yours, thank you.
Gotcha.
Okay. It's easiest to do that first.
I think
Oh,
it
what?
doesn't matter because she's.
The treasurer is here. Have you said April's last name before it? Rivolavi? Who works here, April? Okay, I'll just take my best guess. Rivolavi? Okay, thank you. I haven't seen her, but I can go check.
But it was unmistakable.
I think she's with June.
Yeah, I think they're all together.
Do you know Jamie?
Not here, then, yeah. They're all
I don't know.
just. That's a good place for them to be.
That's
a good place.
Had
Might be better than the classroom.
I was an adult. I did not laugh.
Padded floor, padded walls.
I was like,
Somewhere, something you can post down.
Literally.
Oh wait, I do need this stuff.
You couldn't even, we're taking like a break from video games right now, and I was like, you couldn't even play that on a normal day. And you can zoom from set, but you don't think you'd get it.
Now I can't find the,
Follow the screen
hopefully everyone saw there's a QR code to look at the agenda on your phone and the minutes from last time. We're just trying virtually like that this time. Once everyone gets back, we'll get started.
Testing was this That's really nice. Hi, Matthew. Harrison.
But not yet. As soon as everyone gets back from getting the agenda pulled up, we'll
Wasn't
get
sure if I
started.
missed that.
No, you're good. Thanks. Did she just go in the gym?
Yeah.
He's here.
I saw him.
Maybe think they're better.
Okay. We'll go ahead and start at 6:01. Welcome everyone to the April meeting, our second to last general meeting for the school year. And I'm Renee, the president.
Vice President.
Rebecca, teacher rep.
Elena, treasurer.
Shelby, membership.
Tracy, secretary.
Jesse, Principal.
Hey, and we'll just start by reading through the minutes from last month, which was March. Sorry, it took me a second to remember what month that was. And then we'll open it up for discussion. And if you missed it, there's a QR code over there that you can scan to look at the agenda and the minutes for today. It takes time to read though. When you are done, we'll just need a first and second motion, please.
First motion.
Second.
Any questions or edits on those from last month? Okay, well then we'll go ahead and just vote yes or no to approve those. Come for this one. Pastor down here. Thank you.
Maybe, question mark?
Thank you.
Go see that for the last camera.
Okay, just count those up really quick. Okay, unanimously those pass, unless there's one more here. Now, sorry, I'm calling you out. So. Also, yes. Okay. Now we'll just go over the upcoming events. There's quite a few at the end of the year. We have our last meeting May 21st and 6 to 7 p.m. Outdoor school is happening right now, so there's no 5th grade here, I don't think, at the school. Missoula Children's Theater is next week. And then also tomorrow night, there's a tour of the town at High Desert Martial Arts, like a parents' night out. And they're donating 50% of proceeds to Jewell, which is really awesome. And then next week on Friday, there's a Bonta Gelato tasting counter tour of the town. I forgot off the top of my head how much they're donating, but a portion will come back to us. And then we have Teacher Appreciation Week, May 4th through 8th with a Star Wars theme. And then instead of family dance, we're trying to do a Jewell family fun night outside this year on May 15th. And then Spring Book Fair, May 27th through 29th, which also crosses over the Family Art Night on May 28th. And then just note, we're still part of the Fred Meyer Rewards Program. If you connect your rewards card, you get some funds back through that. Do you do birthdays or?
I'll do birthdays.
Okay.
We have a lot of April birthdays. Leslie Johns, Christy Erickson, Amy Huckins, Sam Knox, Carrie Fitzgerald, Lauren Del Mar, Jessica Hillier, and Sarah Maxwell all celebrating birthdays this month. And we celebrated them today in the staff room with lots of their favorite goodies. But if you see them in the hallways, tell them happy birthday. Volunteer opportunities this month. We've got MCT concessions to help during the performances on Saturday. Teacher Appreciation Week, we're looking for volunteers to sign up to bring in some food items for them. The Jewell Family Fun Night, we're looking for a few volunteers for that. And the book fair, spring book fair, volunteers for that, as well as the Jaguar Crossing Crew and Always Lunch and Office Help. And you can find all of the links to all of those volunteer signups on the PTO website.
Yep, they're on the website. They will hopefully come out in an email.
So if you scroll all the way down, you'll have your treasurer report thingy there. We'll go over expenses first. I'm gonna hold off on carnival stuff until the end. We'll go over that separately. So our notable expenses for March, teacher and staff support, the conference week support where we bought them some meals and snacks and stuff like that for them while they were here, all those long hours meeting with everybody. And then teacher and staff, that was classified staff appreciation week, happened in March, and we did a taco bar for them. And so then moving down into like the arts and culture section, we had the Jewell Jumble. That is, we're still waiting. There could still be some reimbursements coming through for that, but I think it's all wrapped up. It ended at about $1,611.34, so $388 under budget, which was great. I think all the kiddos had a lot of fun with that. My son still likes to try to do the stop motion because he was able to do that. So yeah. So going down then to income, we had our interest for the month, and then PTO donations. We had $52 from movie night. And then just from concession sales and such at movie night, we did $396. And then school merchandise, we sold school merchandise after schools while we were doing the carnival pre-sales and stuff, and then also at carnival. So we did a pretty good amount for March. I don't think we're gonna hit that $7,000 goal by the end of the year though, but still, it's not too bad. Tour of the town, we haven't seen income for that. We are waiting on checks from Laughing Planet, El Rancho Grande, and Pastini, but we have amounts. So El Rancho Grande was about $500, and then Pastini was $345.06. So both good incomes coming from that. So Carnival, you can see all of our expenses there for Carnival. Everybody came in under budget on like for the committee and spending everything, so that was great. Our Carnival expenses totaled out to, it actually totaled out to $3,156.32. You're gonna see that bigger number there just because of cash for tills on the total expenses line, but that not really. The actual expenses were $3,156.32. And then for income, really great turnout. We had so many people come to Carnival. It was really fun. With the raffle and food and beverage tickets being the same and interchangeable, we had to struggle a little bit to figure out what was actually raffle, what was actually food and beverage. I know Renee and Haley spent a good amount of time actually hand counting food and beverage tickets. So we could get a better idea of what was what. So those numbers there are a little, could be a little bit off, but overall our total income was $14,421.11, which was great. So our net for Carnival was $11,168.50, which was great. Really great for the Carnival, and just really, I don't know, yeah. Thank you everybody who came and helped. I know a lot of everybody here was on committee, so it was awesome. Yeah. Our account balance right now is at $79,000. Playground fund is at $21,500. Fifth grade is at $2,800, And our end of the year projected is almost 68,000. So, yeah, that's it.
Any questions or anything on budget, income?
I like that we could use the tickets for food and
Yeah.
the other stuff, so
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys counting it all out, but it was nice for us.
Yeah, I think that next year what we'll do is we'll just make it all one big account and just be like raffle and food and beverage and not try to separate it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, or whoever's in charge of it can do whatever they want, but that's an idea.
All right, thank you. Principal report.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to the meeting. We currently, right now, our fifth graders are at outdoor school. So just an update for everybody on that. There's snow up there, but they're staying warm and having a fantastic time. I got some pictures and videos of the kids and they're doing great. So that's always exciting. They are up there yesterday. They were there last night, all day today, and then they'll come back tomorrow. We will be sending out seesaw messages to families. So you can be looking for that of kind of updates of when they're supposed to arrive. And then the kids can get picked up over on the bus lane area. We just ask that families park in the grass to leave the curb open to the buses. The kids come back exhausted and they will probably go home and either be very grumpy or fall right to sleep and then have the weekend to recover. So kids are welcome to get picked up and taken home. We just have to check them out before they head out. So you can be looking for information about that. We have next week on April 23rd at 6 o'clock, so a week from right now, we have a Youth Truth Information Night. A message was supposed to go out today about that. I don't know if it did, so I will be checking on that first thing in the morning to make sure that that message has gone out, inviting people. Childcare will be provided. There'll be some snacks and there'll be a chance to dig in with us to the information and kind of see what information you guys provided for us and then help us figure out some next steps. So that's next week on Thursday at 6 p.m. And we anticipate that'll take about anywhere from half an hour to an hour of conversation. Coming up in the end of April and then throughout May is going to be state testing, everybody's favorite time of year. It's third, fourth, and fifth grade does the state testing. It's something that families can opt out of, but if students are going to do it, then it's a test that they do in reading with some writing components that kids have to write some responses. They do it in reading, math, and then in fifth grade they also do science. And it's information that then goes and is reported to the state to kind of help us figure out areas that we need to focus on. So that'll be coming up. The kids do a great job with that, and most of them take it very seriously, which we appreciate. And that will be from now until through May, and then kind of have to be done as we get into June because iPads get turned in and that kind of thing. We have a lot of things that are happening kind of that last week of school, which I can't believe we're already talking about the last week of school, but a lot of exciting things that are happening. School gets out on June 11th, and so kind of the lead up to that involves field day that we'll be having more information coming out about, involves the fifth grade celebration they'll be on that week, involves a moving up thing where the kids get to go to the next grade level and meet the teachers there. All of that is kind of lumped into that end of year celebration stuff. And so we'll be having information go to students about that, but not anything that you guys need to worry about or necessarily come in for, just information for you guys to know.
The fifth grade students tomorrow, is
Yes.
it roughly around 11?
Around 11 is our anticipated arrival, yeah. And then sometimes it's a little later, but if it's a little earlier, that's okay. And we'll just have them come into the gated part of the playground with all their equipment. And then as we sign them out, we'll send them out the gate to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Teacher report, if there's anything.
Yes, I got some feedback from Beat Theater that we'll have our final product at the end of April, so soon. And feedback that I got from kindergarten teachers via Miss Marriott was that they were very, very happy with Beat Theater and their ability to work with kindergartners, which is not always easy. And they were very impressed and happy with the way they engaged with the little ones. And so that was some feedback I got there. And it just, yeah, that's all.
Is this something that we want to do next year? Because I know that we voted on this, last year to UB. So do we need to vote? Is that something that you guys want to do next year?
I mean, maybe, I think we kind of probably want to see the end result and see what else we might want to do that might be a bigger project.
Yeah. Has there been talk at all with any teachers of like what you want, like having another artist person come in as opposed to Beat or anybody else?
Yeah, I think there's been talk about another mural. And there's been talk about something for the on the walls for the gym. That would be like a good backdrop for when we have performances and events in there, and having something pretty, but also that says R.E. Jewell and has
Right.
the Jaguars in both languages and all that. And then we're also looking into some different events, like there are artists that do African drum lessons that one of the other elementary schools just did, and so we're just sort of gathering information at this point.
Yeah. Jesse, you're gonna have a problem if we keep having murals.
know.
You're gonna run out of space.
I know, well, we only have space for, I think, in this area, one more over there, and then maybe 2 shorter ones here. But I think the thing I've heard the most about is trying to decorate the gym a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Darren, our custodian, about how that could work, and there's kind of soundboard up, the white is kind of sound deadening. So I was saying something about, well, that's not strong enough to really hold something like this. And he said, well, behind that is just wood, just like this. So it should be totally fine. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to. So I had been thinking we had to do something that's real light and maybe not paper, but cloth or something like that. But he was saying he doesn't see why we wouldn't be able to do something, more substantial if we wanted to. So that's been the thing that's been on my mind of, is there a way to spruce up the gym a little bit? Maybe build on, the theme of it being a common space that we all use our logo, somehow build that into it. So that's kind of where my mind is right now.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. We don't, aside from this artist who did the mural with us for this, I'm not sure how a cloth one would work, whether that would even work with students to try and help us with that, or quite what we would do there. So we'd have to find an artist that could really help us to figure that out. So if anybody knows of an artist who does big murals that aren't actually painted on the wall, send them our way.
I like the logo for this year and what you guys did with like the Spanish and English. I know that Jill last year was talking about maybe doing something in the gym.
Mhm.
Is that something that maybe we could replace the old one on the floor with the new one? Or she was even talking about, I think she said over by the water fountain, like doing the logo over there too,
Mhm.
like on the wall.
Yeah.
Is that something that we could?
Yeah, the wall is definitely a possibility. The floor is a little more complicated just because to my knowledge, that's an original floor. And we I don't know what it's called. We
Sealed it?
but we take off all the surface every couple summers, strip it. I think that's the term.
Yeah.
So we strip off the surface and then redo it. And so maybe when it's stripped off, maybe we'd be able to have somebody paint and then go. But I don't know what would be involved in that.
Yeah.
But that would be very cool to update that logo.
Well, yeah. I props to you guys because it's great.
Yeah.
The teachers actually
Yeah.
designed it.
Who?
The teachers.
Oh, it's great.
Turned out really good.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to give any updates on playground happenings?
I think the only thing we're really working on is bringing the nature playground to to Jewell, which for those that aren't aware, got the green light to propose an idea of just like doing some logs or some sort of just nature playground of some sort on this side of the playground. We're trying to get some ideas from Amity, who currently has one, but the idea is with Jesse's support, we'll submit a proposed idea and work with the district to hopefully get something put in. But yeah, got that going. And then I'm confusing our committee meetings with these meetings, but starting in July, we'll be able to begin fundraising again for the big playground project. I'm sure as many of you probably know, district has been working on overhauling their policy regarding fundraising, all that fun stuff. So they're finalizing all those policies now. Timeline is by June, those policies should be finalized, and then July, the freeze will be removed, and then we can begin fundraising at that point. So that's where we stand today.
Do you think that'll be far enough along for the next meeting that some of those details can be shared, or do you think it won't be quite finalized enough at that point?
They're pretty darn close. I mean, at the very least, nothing's really stopping us at a minimum of sharing like the draft of the district policies and what they're thinking about. So we could definitely bring copies, I think. And Jesse, you have to keep me honest in this. There's district policy and administrative policy. Am I using the terms correctly?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so the policy that was being worked on is the administrative policy, and that's pretty much been finalized. What admin wasn't aware of is that there also needs to be like a governing district policy over it. That's kind of more big picture type stuff. And then the admin policy is like how you're going to do it and what does it look like. So I believe both are up for review. Keep me honest on that, Renee.
I've only seen the overarching, the last time I checked, but if you go to like the school board website and their meetings, you can see any policies that they're reviewing on there. So it's like a one page at this point, but we could bring it next time. Yeah.
We can bring all those policies. I mean, I think the big one that will probably pique a lot of people's interest is just like, how are they going to fundraise and how do those funds get distributed? So they had a couple different models that they were exploring. The one that they settled on was what are they calling it? Essentially, they're just calling it like a community pot. Yeah, it's an opt-in community pot. Thank you. Where PTOs are essentially free to fundraise as you normally would, but with kind of every fundraising event, there'll be like a QR code that says, would you like to donate or make an additional donation to a community pot? And those funds kind of get administered and governed around like essentially a group of volunteers represented from different PTOs. And then they work with the district to determine where the need is. So, the example that was brought up is like Lapine School doesn't have a PTO. So they go and have the biggest need for some big things. And so priority will probably go to them for some items, so on and so forth. So that's the idea. They were working through some other models of, every PTO's percentage of total fundraising goes to a community pot. No one really liked that. So they settled on essentially an opt-in model. Kind of similar like GoFundMe. If you ever donate, it says, would you like to donate to cover fees? Similar concept is what they're trying to go for.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything from membership, Shelby?
Nope.
So we don't have any unfinished business.
We have one more, actually. Sorry. Jill said, playground thought. If you've been to Buckingham lately, they painted their existing playground blue and yellow, and it makes it look new. Any thought to paint for now to cover rust, etc.? I only ask because some baseball, softball parents mentioned how nice it looked compared to ours.
Yeah. We can definitely talk about that at our meeting this month. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go to the new business for tonight. First, discussion about spring book fair. The question to open for discussion is taking 15% cash back or 20% store credit that doesn't have an expiration. And the reason we're talking about that before it happens is because we won't have another meeting this school year after the book fair. So can I get a first and second just to open up the,
Is this book fair scholastic or?
it's a roundabout books, yeah.
First.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. So before, I'm gonna let Rebecca just give us an update from the teachers' thoughts, pretty please.
From the, I surveyed teachers and asked for their input about that. And the vast majority was for the cash back option.
Any other thoughts or?
Is that cash back for the teachers or is that cash back for PTO?
To go into the PTO account for the teachers or to use on funding requests for next school year.
And then if we were to do the 20% store credit, would that be distributed, I guess, for the teacher? Like how that, like what?
Yeah, same as like Scholastic, basically it would be split up and then each person would get an amount to shop there for the classroom. Yep.
I'm assuming we don't at this point because it's all kind of new, but do we have a feel for like how good of a selection or how easy it is for them to order books that the teachers would actually care about? I know that's been kind of a problem with Scholastic, particularly on the Spanish side. I don't know if it's better on the roundabout side or not.
We haven't done, they just started offering the 20% this school year, so we haven't done that with them. But just from personal experience, it seems like they can order anything if they don't have it in stock, through whoever they order from, so. Okay. I can also ask them that question if you want. We can wait and vote next time. We don't want to vote today.
I don't think we need to wait,
Okay.
I was just more curious, if you had a feel for that. Like, my feel's the same, although I don't know about pricing, right? It could,
It would likely be more expensive per book with the smaller bookstore than Scholastic. Yeah.
My guess is even though it might be more expensive, they probably have a wider selection than Scholastic. Scholastic's selection is somewhat narrow, where a bookstore may be able to come from a couple different areas. So maybe more money, but also more books available.
Yeah, it seemed like that from the selection last year. They were able to offer a lot more, particularly like on the Spanish side.
Okay, well, if we can take a vote, if you can write cash back or store credit, and we'll collect those. Thank you. Sure, thank you. Yeah, we'll just look at those really quick. Mark them up, that's great. Okay, that was unanimous for taking 15% cash back and just putting that into the account for next year's funding. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna move on to funding requests. We have 3 to go over tonight. The first one is from Kayla, a request for 2 medium-sized coolers that would be used for field trips where the class has gone for lunch to help keep milk cartons cold until lunchtime. A 40 to 50 quart cooler, $65 each, so $65 each. So Sorry, I didn't do the math ahead of time.
1:30.
Thank you. So, enough teachers in the room to help me, thank you. So can I get a first and second, please, to open for discussion?
First, second.
Thank you.
Would those would fit under the buses, Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the requirements from our food services department have shifted a little bit, and I don't think it's a district policy. I think it's a state requirement that when students are leaving when we ask for a sack lunch and they're not going to be here to eat lunch, we already in the permission slips ask parents, would you like to bring a lunch from home or get a lunch from school? If they mark get a lunch from school, what we've been able to do is send the kids with a sack lunch that doesn't include milk because it may go bad, and it just includes the juice. The requirement is now that we have to send milk. And so then to make that feasible for them when they're going, not that the students are going to necessarily drink the milk because it is not the most popular option. But when we send a lunch, we are required to send it. And so this would then allow the milk to go and be going on a field trip. The reason for two is because we, on certain days, have 2 different field trips going to do 2 different sites. So one cooler would be enough for 1 class worth of milk, and then the other would be able to be available for another field trip on the same day.
It kind of sounded like you had particular coolers in mind.
I think Kayla looked up some. I don't actually know what the coolers were, but
Yeah, and I'm all for funding it, but I'm also wondering if we could get a business to just donate the 2 coolers. And so maybe that's something worth looking into, whether or not we fund it.
totally. Yeah, we'd totally be open to that. We are willing to rock some, swag from somebody if they're willing to donate it.
To kind of bounce off him, how come this, I'm all for funding this, but why, if this is kind of like a requirement from the school district, why isn't the school district supplying this for you guys?
Good question.
What are we paying for it?
Totally.
I'm not trying to be mean.
No. I totally understand. And it would be something that if the PTO decided, we're not interested in funding that I would then go back to my budget and say, okay, where do we find the money to do that? And we would get it anyway. So yes, it is totally up to you guys. We would need to get one regardless. I love the idea of getting a local business. And that would mean that nobody has to pay for it. So I think that's a fantastic idea. And if anybody has a line on a business that would be interested in donating. We could take a little scrape.
We have some paint in our garage. We can paint that.
The coolers would be big enough to store milk and then sack lunches too, I would assume.
Yeah, the lunches are designed to not need refrigeration. They're typically, a sandwich that is okay. But yes, it
It's
would,
nice to be able to pick
to
up
be able to have all of it.
a cooler and have that all in like a one place instead of taking like your own personal lunch bin and then your cooler of milk and then your this.
Yeah, it's a
So
lot.
I think coolers would be nice to have at school.
Does it have to be, so are we gonna have to worry about ice as well? I know this is all sorry.
That's a good question. I don't know that we've gotten that far in the thinking.
And that just use the cooler.
I'm not sure yet.
So every sack lunch has to have a milk?
I think there's a minimum requirement. I don't know if it's every single, if you have 32 students, you have to have 32
Right.
milks. I don't know if that's, I'm not sure. I
I'm
haven't
just
looked at
thinking
that
that's a lot of
requirement.
milk. You have 3 classes going.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
Would it be worth adding a few ice packs into the purchase request?
Potentially, yeah. I didn't even think about whether we would need ice. So that's something that we could think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they have ice packs though that they could send with us. They have
They have
refrigeration
Big
units.
ice maker.
So,
Dump some ice on top of
Yeah.
the milk and call it a day.
Maybe, and then I'm just cleaning it out at the end of the day, that's possible.
But then you couldn't use the paper.
But you couldn't
sack.
put the
Yeah,
whole
exactly.
lunch bag in.
Yeah.
I get
That's
that.
you're then doing,
Yeah, so you do ice packs and sack lunches.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, totally.
I also wanted to apologize, I didn't take in the total amount, and we could have just voted on this board. But I'm glad we brought it because you guys had a lot of good ideas. And we could just vote on we could vote on adding the ice packs if you guys wanted to
Yeah.
look into those after the fact.
I mean, what if we amended it and voted on like up to 150 per? And so that'd be the cooler, potentially different coolers, ice packs. And then there's just fluff in there in case we need something else or.
We can't do that, yeah, you guys want to.
Jesse, is the district asking you guys to put milk, like, do kids get to decide, do I want to use this or milk? Or do they not have a say, like, you get milk?
When they go through the line, they aren't required to take the milk.
Okay.
So they can choose. For the sack lunch, my understanding is that the requirement is that we do send milk.
Okay.
I don't know, and it sounds like it's not the student choice because we know that students would opt to not drink the milk.
Okay.
It's not a district policy. I'm pretty sure that it's state policy.
Oh,
And I think if I had to guess, and I don't quote me on this, but if I had to guess, I think it's tied to the funding that is providing free and reduced lunches for all students. So
Okay.
I think it's one of those requirements of like, yeah, we also need you to be making sure that
Okay.
every student gets this also.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking like if we were just setting stuff, it sounds like seems super wasteful to just be done.
Totally. Yeah, no.
I hear you. Okay, no, that makes sense.
Okay, does it feel like there's a general consensus on changing the cost to, like, increasing the cost on the form, or should we do 2 votes, one for that and then one for approving it?
I think if it's I think if it's 130 for the 2 coolers that Kayla was proposing.
Yeah.
It could go up to like 200 if we're incorporating ice packs and be
Mhm.
safe.
We could also just vote on the ice packs at a later date too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they'll be under
Yeah.
$200.
They'll be under 200.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Okay, let's take a vote on this initial proposal of the 130 for the PTO to pay for, yes or no, please.
Way to go. Reduce, reuse, recycle. We like it. You want some? Yeah. Okay.
Wait, I think-
Thank you.
I have an extra paper here in case I really get my mind changed.
Okay. No. Okay, that passed unanimously. Thanks for the discussion and help on that one. The next one is something that I'm gonna pass around for everyone to look at. It's a custom logo mat for the front entryway. Darren brought this up as an idea, and then I just helped by researching options. There's 3 companies on there, American Floor Mats, Floor Mat Shop, and Uline. What? Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, actually, I'm just describing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's 3 different prices on there that you'll see. And the American Floor Mats, when Mike looked into it, had pretty bad reviews on it. That's the most expensive one. And then Floor Mat Shop, nothing good or bad, not too much information overall. And then Uline is well known, but they wouldn't give me a mock-up without placing the order. So that's all the info. The dollar amounts are on there, but I think the American one was like 700 something, and then the other two are around 425 each. So can I get a first and second to open that up for discussion, please? Thank you.
Which picture is the one that is not the great review? Is
Um,
it the big long one, or is it the,
It's the one with the lighter blue,
that has not great reviews?
right? That's the most expensive one.
Are we voting on which company or if we're gonna do this or not?
Yes, both, yeah. So
I feel like what you said, everybody's gonna say no. Right? Like,
to vote on not getting one at all.
not for any of those companies.
Oh, okay. I think the floor mat shop or the U-line would be the way to go, and to get the mock-up from the well-known company, and if that doesn't match the one that, once you see it, maybe you'll like it, we'll see. But the one looks really nice, so if it can't look just like that, then maybe go with the floor
Are there
mat shop.
reviews for like Uline and like
Yeah,
similar things?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it seems like a lot of people use
It's
them
like they'll send
and
proof and
really
you
like
approve the
it.
proof before they actually make it and send it to you.
And you
They
can
just won't
cancel
make-
it,
mock
yeah.
up the proof until you actually put in an order.
Right.
I'm curious about the light blue color.
Mhm.
It seems like that would be hard to keep clean.
Yeah, it does. And I didn't go back and ask them for another one once Mike told me that it wasn't a great company, because I didn't know that we would want to pursue that, so. But we can. And we can vote on it next month if everyone wants to talk about it or get more information. But the mat up front is, boring and old and worn down. So the idea was to get a new one and then put our new logo on it to make it fun and welcoming.
I don't feel like Darren's asked for.
I know, I was gonna say, I love Darren's idea, I really do.
So proud.
He's also got Jaguar pride.
Yeah, we can fairly easily replace the one that we have, but it would just be a very generic.
No, he
um,
doesn't. Let's just call it. The maps up front, do you know did they just come from the school district, or do you know okay,
No,
you
yeah.
would know the company they would recommend.
We could ask, but I don't know that the company they get those from could do any customization. I think it's just, here's the map
Here's
and
the
this
black
is the
mats.
stock.
Massive
Massive black.
production black mats that
Exactly.
everyone's gonna have, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the U-Line one. That's a huge company.
Yeah, U-Line's
It would be
huge.
easy to work with
Yeah.
them.
I can see why they don't just do mock-ups for just anyone that wants one, because
Oh,
just because they do so much business that they want to keep that for who's actually doing business with them.
yeah.
Have you seen that?
I think I saw it in an email, but I haven't seen it printed.
I'm sorry, Renee, the
Yeah.
Uline doesn't have the mock.
We don't have a mock-up, but my proposal is I send them the picture of the dark blue and say, can you make this? And it should be the same price, because they know it's low custom and they know all the information.
So it's sort of like we have intent to purchase from you. They give you a mock-up, you probably can still back out at that point.
Yes, they said you, once you place the order, they send you the mock-up, you do edits, or you can say no and then cancel it. Yeah. I just didn't want to do that without this voting.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
Yeah, those look great.
Yeah, it's cool.
So how does everyone generally feel about that idea or do you just want to go with Uline then? And do you want me to bring back the mock-up before I say for sure next?
I think if it looks just like the blue one that,
Yeah, like in here. I think if we approve the
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
of that rug, but then go with the company that has that's reputable.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd save the voting until after we kind of got the box checked, if we can all agree on something.
Did you say save the voting?
I would say save the voting on the funds
Okay.
until we've gone through the round trip of the intent to do. There might be still a little bit of back and forth, but
Well, they won't give me a mock-up unless I order it.
Or do you have to?
I
hold
say,
funds?
I say
Yeah.
approve the
Okay,
funds.
yeah,
And then
Approve the
at
funds.
board
That's fine.
discretion, if the rug looks like that, then pull the trigger.
But if they come back and say, we can't do that, it's gonna look different, then we'll bring it back.
And that one would cost $426.38.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's take a vote on that, and that's what I'll do, and I'll bring it back if it's not exactly the same. What?
Yes or no?
Yes.
26
Yeah.
and 38 cents.
It's been a long day.
There's a lot of options.
I thought we were at it. Yeah, what do I answer here?
The cost, $130 for two of them.
Please take it.
I'm really hoping you use your teacher listen.
Stop talking.
You wanna take a turn counting?
Sure.
You need more.
Unanimous, yes.
Thank you. The last funding request is from the board. We changed family dance to a family fun night outside with bounce houses. The same company that we used for carnival. And we have a budget of 1,000 for that event. And the initial bounce houses proposal for 3 items is 1,200, which is over that budget. And then we want to get other supplies like concessions and bubbles and maybe face painting stuff to put out as fun things to do at the event. So we're just asking for 500 additional funds. We may not spend all of that, but just to cover a little bit more than the 1,000. So can I get a first and second, please, to open that for discussion? Thank you.
So instead of the dance, this is what you guys would do?
So will this be more like the first event we had this year?
Yeah, very similar, different bounce house company. And we're doing an obstacle course and a big slide and then like a bouncer is what we have lined up for the bounce houses. And that obstacle course, man, you know.
And do we have people doing like the like tacos and stuff again, slushy, that sort of thing, or is this more just activities?
We are focused mainly on activities. We don't know about food trucks yet. It's something that I think we're gonna talk more about because we still have a board meeting to go over that event specifically for.
There's also, so the family fun night is the 15th of May, and then the art night is the 28th of May, and that typically has the
Food
dinner.
trucks too.
So, right?
So far, our concessions are like,
Just
sparkling
the
water,
candy and
water,
sparkling
yeah,
water and
Yeah,
soda.
yeah.
So,
and then if families
Seems
would
like
like
the
to bring
family fun
things
night
and
is just
picnic or
Yeah.
whatever.
and that's,
hang out fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're thinking of having it on this playground, the south.
South Player, yeah.
And the bounce houses will be staffed.
Yep.
Which is
Oh, nice.
Professionally staffed.
professionally staffed, not by,
Is that Mountaineer that does it?
yeah,
Yeah, they seemed awesome. at
Yeah.
Carnival.
yeah, Elliot's great.
Yeah, I think the idea was just to kind of something different, keep the kids engaged longer. I know at least mine, and from prior dances, it seems like the kids kind of get bored inside and naturally just want to run outside anyway. Start doing stuff out there. So that's where they want to be. We'll at least make it super fun with some bounce houses and other types of activities. So try something different. See if it catches.
Did you say music? You're gonna play music?
Oh, yeah, well, the speaker.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, but yes.
Is 500 enough?
Yeah.
Do we need to do like 1,000? That's good?
I think so. I think it might be even more than enough because it's concessions and bubbles mostly.
Yeah.
We can probably use face painting supplies from the carnival. Okay, well, please vote yes or no. Thank you. There's extra funding, yeah.
That's not blank, sorry.
No, it's too late now.
The budget for families. Hold on, one more. Oh, okay. You can't see.
Okay.
Don't call me out.
Mix it in
No,
there.
I was upstairs.
It's gonna come out of your vote.
Yeah.
Great job, Ashley. You're doing great.
Thank you.
You're hired.
Hired.
Okay, all right, unanimously that passed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Last new business we have is, the board nominations for next year. We have a nomination for, Vice President Marcy Sklar-Neeson, and then, for Treasurer Matthew Rivalabi. So those are the nominations we have so far for 2 out of the 5 positions. And we talked as a board extending the deadline for submitting nominations to us by email to May 14th, which is 7 days from our last meeting to take a vote on the new board positions. We need 3 people on the board and 1 needs to be president to keep the PTO going next year. So one idea is to keep one of us on for next year, but not really either do less events or not do many events, but be able to support the school with funding requests if there's not full board to run everything. There's also a survey out or that will be coming out by email, but it's on social media, just kind of ranking the events so that the next board could trim down if needed to make it more manageable.
What were the positions that you said the nominee, the?
Vice president and treasurer have nominees, and then we need membership. Well, we need president for sure, and then membership and secretary.
I think it's really hard to do, like, even if it was just 3 people on the board, if we had 3 fresh people on the board, I think trying to run everything would be incredibly difficult. So I think, like, you know, moving in a direction of like a transition year, where kind of it's really scaled back maybe, and it's just nothing's really happening except for teacher funding is really kind of what we might be looking at. Especially if it was just like if Renee and I have to stay on just to oversee kind of that process. So hopefully we'll get more nominations. But yeah.
But I think, I mean, to think about like longevity wise of the PTO, I think that maybe scaling back should be something that is a goal in general. And maybe the fundraisers that we do choose to do can be less time and energy intensive from the board part, and maybe more of like an online readathon or, you know, where it's managed by something else, but simplifying it too.
Yeah, and we'll review the survey results at the May meeting. Just give everyone a chance to fill it out. So we did 1 for families and 1 for staff.
Do you have a thought or a question?
No, I was kind of just gonna make a joke.
Well, now you have to.
I was just gonna say, can we put all the parents' names in a big pot and just
Yeah.
draw it out?
Yeah.
It is your turn.
Yeah.
I think just to speak to the kind of what Ashley was saying, paring back a little bit, I think we all are really good at adding more onto our plates, and we're not very good as people of taking things off and kind of identifying things that we can let go of. Because when it comes down to it, as educators, we're definitely guilty of this, of like, well, I want to do all the things, and that this is someone's favorite thing, and so I don't want to eliminate this from what we're doing, and it just is a little bit more time. I can do it. It's okay. And so we add, and I think as people who are trying to have balanced lives, I recognize that it can be hard, and I don't think anyone is going to begrudge us saying we are trying to make this a manageable position and something that we can all do. And therefore, here's going to be the priorities. I think the survey is going to help with those priorities, but it also may be the priorities of the board. And that's an okay decision for the board to make next year, to say, here are the things that we think we can take as, in our busy lives. It's a volunteer position. It's not paid. And for anyone who has been on it, they know it's very thankless. There's a lot of things that happen that nobody sees. And so I think just approaching it from the point of view of we want there to be a PTO, not just for funding requests, but as a community building entity, something that is helping build and maintain our community, but then also as something that is supporting the students and the staff here at Jewell. That means we're going to have to look at what can we let go of. And so that might mean letting go of a favorite and a baby that we're like, but I love that, and I've been going to Jewell forever, and now we're not doing that. That might be the case. And it may help us all kind of rally and say, well, I really want to be able to do that. And so therefore, these 20 people are going to volunteer to help make that happen. But as people, we can't complain when we also aren't willing to help. And so that will be the message for us going into next year, no matter who steps in to do that role. That one, we're going to pare back, we have to. And two, our goal is to try and make this sustainable so that someone feels like they could do it for more than 1 year and still have a life outside of the PTO.
And I think, because we were talking, I think the consequence is if you can't fill the board and the PTO gets dissolved, all those funds just get absorbed by the school district, right?
Well, it actually, Destiny can hold it for a couple of years and then see if it reopens. And then it would go to the school would be
It's like a
spent.
2-year.
Yeah.
Every 2 years.
Yeah, but I don't think I could do, it would just be holding, it would
Just
just
be
be,
stuck there.
yeah, because there's no one to approve the use of that or anything, so it would just be sitting and waiting for, yeah.
So hopefully we can use that to kind of encourage some people too. It's like, hey, you can scale back, and the funds are now in purgatory until we have some people here.
And I think we have some leads on a couple of people who are considering it and thinking about it, so we're hopeful that we'll get at least one other person who's willing to step in. And I think that will be a conversation that we can continue to have with the board of what can we cut out, what can we take away, even though this doesn't take much effort. It's a drip effect of like, yeah, this doesn't, but there's 50 of those things that don't take much effort. And it adds up to you don't have a life outside of the PTO. We don't want that for you guys.
Yeah, and I think, I think we struggle. It's people are really busy, things are, let's say, uncertain in the world in general right now, and I think that impacts stuff. But like, if people are really invested in having things happen, like there's volunteer opportunities and it's like you can make it happen. But I think a lot of times we rely on the board to take all of that to make sure it happens, and then some people volunteer and some don't. And so I think that's a good signal as well. As like if people really care about it, they'll find a way to volunteer.
Yeah. Well, let's also say we rely on the board and the board spouses.
But I think it's a good time to acknowledge you guys have done such an amazing job, and very appreciative of everything that you provided this year, so.
We appreciate all the parents too, and it's been fun.
Do we have a second to chat about Carnival?
Yeah, we have the open forum, so yeah.
How, did you guys have a meeting at the very end to like figure out like what worked, what didn't work for Carnival, like, how did that go?
Yeah, it went great.
Sorry, I'm looking at Shelby and she's like, yeah, we had that, so I'm like.
We were all there. But yeah, I think it went great. We had a lot of good discourse on what we thought went really well, and some things that we could always improve on.
And elaborating, like what did you guys feel went really well, not well?
I haven't typed up my notes from that meeting, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to
I think
look
in
through.
general, everybody went through and did their own bit about, their spot. Haley said, order more pizza, less hot dogs, which I feel like we said last year too. Decorations, Casey said that everything's really lined up and ready to go, and she doesn't think decorations really need to have a big budget next year. You can speak to raffle.
Yeah, we tried doing raffle baskets in teacher classrooms, and I think Kayla loved not having her office as a storage unit this year. It worked mostly well for us. We were able to get a lot of good baskets and a lot of good donations in. I think the only downside to doing it that way was that we didn't get to see a lot of the donations until like right before we started putting baskets together, but that wasn't a big issue.
I think the reusing of the raffle tickets for both was a big positive.
We did get a lot of positive feedback about that.
The one negative is to try and make it easier on the people staffing it. We kind of called it early, but people were still hungry, so they still want raffle tickets, and so there ended up being some like cash exchange. I think a teacher or somebody at one point like grabbed some raffle tickets from the decorations, which is funny because we used both, and like made money for the PTO off of that. And so there's some talks about, well, maybe you can still get raffle tickets, or we do something else around the food.
Moving some ticket sales into the cafeteria later in the evening.
At the beginning, there was a little bit of bunching at the entryway, so we talked a bit about how we might use that, and it's kind of a tricky thing because it takes however long it takes to get ready to open, so opening early is not always an option. But like what options we have there, there's talk of like maybe doing some face painting out front too to kind of like pull people out.
To get that face painting in early because man, that room, we had to kick people out of
Last
face
year we forced
painting.
everybody outside.
Oh, okay.
And this time they were in the like really small space. And in fact, most of the event, your husband was like herding cats in the front. Sounds nice.
I was saying.
I would also just say in the ticket sales, there was like multiple tables, maybe 3 or 4 different spots where people could get tickets, and that worked great. Once the initial crush was done, people could go to whichever table was available and had the shortest line, and that went super fast.
Yeah. A few things on like auction. Having the room was nice to be able to lay things out, but it was a little awkward because like people wanted to go back, like you had some stuff in your office. The lost and found's right there, so people thought we had their lost stuff when we didn't. The online auction's always a little funky. So this year we didn't auto charge, and that meant we got more money, but that meant it was more awkward at pickup time because people had to go read their email and go through and spend the money, or we had them do that for us to give them their items. And I don't know what the right trade-off there is because I think it's best for us to get as much money as possible, but we don't want to add friction to the people doing the auction. So that was a piece. To that point, lost and found. I think having a really obvious location for that was the thing that came up. I'm trying to remember anything else about that.
I wasn't on the committee, but I was approached a couple of times by people really appreciating that we sourced out the bounce houses this year for Carnival. Like the variety was nice and just not having to take that on and oversee crowd control over that. People were saying it was really nice, so feedback that I received about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people commented on it being like really well run this year and like being like everything kind of in its place and happening. And the volunteers did great. Yeah, that's what they came up with. All the volunteers were really great.
So is that what happened with, sorry, you said auto pay with auction? Is that what we did last year and why I was so confused as to like, I bought these items, but like.
Last year it did automatically pull everybody's money. As soon as the auction ended, it just kicked everybody's money out to us. This year, we had it set up the exact same way, but Give Better, I think that they may have like went through some regulatory issues or something. And they said, okay, if you're gonna follow these steps, we cannot auto charge. You have to get them to pay us.
Gotcha.
And then it'll be done.
Yeah.
But you can set it up differently where we pay more fees, and then it will auto charge at the end of auction, which I think for me personally, I was kind of like, let's just do that next year.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to opt into basically making less money to make it easier on folks.
Yeah.
And that might just be the right decision, but it is a trade-off where you're like, okay, we're making less money on everything.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple things. I know we're all trying to go home. Auction was great this year. I think it was awesome. We had some good stuff. I have to say, I'm just a little bit disappointed in kind of like the increments, and kind of where things were priced. It sucks because I'm the one that got a majority of, like the auction items. And so I'm getting a lot of feedback from people, and it's kind of a blowback on me when I was just the one getting the donations. So I guess I would recommend, my first thing is, I think if somebody is willing to give a donation that's over a certain amount of dollars, $1,000, I mean, I don't know what that is, that's for the next board to decide. I feel like they should be able to maybe have a little bit of input as to where the bidding should start, and what the bidding increments are. For instance, I hate to call people out, but the Mexico trip went for the exact same thing as what they provided for us. Was she provided for Bend High. Theirs went for $4,000 and ours went for $700. And she was just super disappointed in that. And I get it. And she voiced to me that if the bid increments were a little bit higher, then it could have been more bidding. It wasn't necessarily, I think we had you guys had priced it at like $400. So it's not that you guys had priced it at $400. I think it was the increments that she was more like bummed about. But I did also ask her the whole Mexico thing and like the killing or whatever happened. I was like, did the whole Bend High auction happen before the Mexico thing, or like, anywho, so the whole Bend High auction had happened before Mexico. So she also understands as to why we got $700. It's like, nobody wants to go to Mexico right now.
Yeah, I think there's a few things there. So I think feedback noted, and I think it's very fair feedback that we should take into account of like, maybe when we're receiving the donations, we can be like, okay, is there a minimum bid you want and in what sort of increments? But if I could talk to, since I was on that part of the committee, I could talk to you a little bit. You know, we were trying to go off of the guidance of like, for a silent auction, they recommend 30 to 40% start. Mm-hmm. That's like the general, I found this in like many different spots. And we were trying to balance that with last year. We saw there were many things that had to get lowered to even get a single bid.
Yeah.
And so we started right off at 30%, like smack on the dot. And there were a few things that we had zero play on heading into Friday, just a zero bid. And so we lowered them a little bit more, and we really tried to get, okay, something's better than nothing, and maybe people will start competing with each other. So I think that's like one factor and part of why that got priced low.
Yeah.
I also wonder if one thing that kind of hurts us, which we've talked about, is we're a grade school, and this is a part of a kids event that's not focused on auction. So that competitive aspect, a few of us like noticed each other's names, we're competing with each other, Matthew and I, you know, he got outbid me in class. But I do wonder, like, I don't know what the high school that was, but I do wonder if we'd be better sort of like, hey, we have an adults only auction, there's some beverages, you're gonna outbid your buddy, you're gonna invite your uncle who has some money, who wants to outbid their buddy friend who also has some money, and really have it be like, this is for adults to make money versus this is kind of a side fun thing.
Right.
So anyways, that's, you know, again, I think very valid feedback, not trying to argue it at all, but that's kind of how we got there. It was like, we're really just like, that one and a couple other ones, like we weren't seeing anything at all until we brought it down just enough to at least somebody got in there and then people started jumping in.
Well, and we saw that last year too, so there weren't many things that we have lowered. I think people wait until the last day because of the whole bidding war thing. So I get where I totally get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to argue that at all. The 30% I get, because that's what we did last year. We just Googled it and it said 30 to 40%, so that's what we did last year. And I know that it's all learning, right? So this is only our second year of doing this, and like.
I also think, I mean, I understand all of that. I also think it is completely out of our control, and so if people are going to, I'm so appreciative that people donate things for a fundraiser. But I'm thinking back on the first carnival that I came to, like over 10 years ago. Things have drastically changed amongst the carnival, amongst the population, amongst the donations that were part of it. And so while I'm very appreciative of people donating, the flip side to that is it is completely out of our control on how and what people are able to, willing to spend on those types of things. And so we can do the best that we can of finding which percentage we should start it at, but past that, that is out of our hands.
Well, and another thing that was kind of frustrating, and I'm sure it was probably Give Butter, because you said that there's some changes, but last year, Give Butter was like, today is the last day, like bid and bid, like we didn't get that this year. And so there was nothing coming from the board or Give Butter that was like, today's the last, like get your bids in, today's, you know what I mean? And Give Butter, I think, probably dropped the ball on that. I don't know if that's like a notification that like you can just hit, like I don't know.
I don't know. I had all notifications turned on. It was like, do you want these notifications? It was like all of them.
Right.
All of it on.
Yeah, I mean, that just sucked because, and then the last thing that I got feedback on, which I kind of feel is a little weird, but it's not quite weird, is I had a business that complained about not getting the link to our donation, which I thanked them, all of them, for the donations, but I guess they want to bid on this stuff too, which was kind of interesting, and I didn't come across that last year. So I don't know.
I mean, I guess they could share it on their social media and be like, hey, you can bid on this from our company.
Totally.
Yeah, maybe some bragging rights sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think we can add that to the feedback for next year too, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you just say, do you want the link? I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on starting bid and e-permits, and would you like a link?
Yeah.
In our, would you like to donate?
Yeah.
Presentation.
I mean, I asked a lot of businesses, so I didn't think to even include that.
Yeah.
So I took full responsibility for that, and I just said, I'm sorry, that's my fault. I should have asked you, but maybe that's something for next year that.
I think it's interesting, the idea of separating the silent auction and kind of those bigger ticket items from the carnival. Because you're right, there is a discord there of like, this is a kids event and the kids are so excited for the raffle basket items. And those are on a very different level and scale than the silent auction. So that, I think that's an interesting thing to think about for next year, of having a separate event that is dedicated to, this is going
We're not
to be.
supposed to be adding events.
Good point. Yeah. See, that we all do it.
Actually, you two, you got it.
Yeah.
Right there.
I would add on to that, this is only the second year of doing an online auction, and before, when we did have the auction in a classroom, kids could see the auction items too. And you're right, it is, kids see the basket, they're right in front of their faces. They are bigger items, but when they're online, the kids also don't get to see what any of them are well. Yeah. So it's less of mom bid on this one, dad bid on this one.
I want this.
I want this, I want that. And it's all parents. And they're busy. I know that I'm busy running after my children here, and like don't even have time to even.
I would agree with you though. It's almost like we should do maybe auction at a different point in time other than carnival, because, and maybe outside of school, because this is something that we talked about. Some of the parents, like me, love my alcohol, And we want like alcohol things that are like involved in it.
I saw
It's
school do a
Monte
White
Carlo
Carlos
night.
theme,
Yeah.
Monte Carlo, or
Right.
like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
casino
Yeah.
White Carlos
Yeah.
themed,
Yeah.
auction night.
It's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I mean, it's almost,
That sounds like I'll go.
I don't know, maybe has auction always been involved in carnival or did
It
like?
has, but it used to be, the silent auction would be like, a donated bike, a paddleboard, things like that, not like a trip to somewhere or a dental, like braces or that kind of thing. I think those started to find their way in, and then there would be like a picture or a packet of like, a weekend away, but it was all, it used to actually be in our computer lab, which is now a classroom right there. And it would be kind of, you'd walk around, but there would be physical things like a bike where you're like bidding, $60 instead of a couple raffle tickets. So it has shifted, but it's always been part of the carnival. But it doesn't need to. We definitely could separate it out and have it stand on its own, as a, hey, this is a chance to donate.
I don't want you guys to feel like I'm like being like coming down on you guys. This is just, it's hard because I was just trying to get all the donations and I'm getting all this feedback and I feel like people are like disappointed in me. So anyway, I just want to share those with you guys. And I guess the only other thing to add for Carnival is, I know that you and I talked about this. Are we doing thank you cards?
They've already
Because
gone.
They did? Okay, thank you.
So with that though, like with the communication side of things, I was thinking about it and like, it shouldn't, because we had like the whole committee, you were sending out all these emails and it's great, thank you so much. But we had no idea of any communication that was happening between you and all these companies. And so I was like, that shouldn't be, like, it shouldn't be coming from your personal email. And so I was like, we should just at least set up a Gmail account that's like Jewell auction@gmail.com. And then that's the auction email that everyone uses every year. So we have contacts from previous years. We have information. We have this wealth of knowledge just
And then
sitting
it
there
doesn't just
and it
fall
just gets
on you,
passed
right?
on. And then that way also, if we have companies come back and say, hey, I'm unhappy, it's like the whole group sees it, not just one person.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Be great.
Thank you for all the work you
Yeah.
did
Yes,
to
thank you.
secure those donations.
I do it for the kids and you guys and,
Thank you.
and
What was the income again from the carnival?
Like
How much would it be?
a little over 11,000.
11?
That
And
was like
what do we
11,500.
get from Mini Mutter?
Like
25.
It's almost worth getting rid of
Looking at
Carnival.
stuff.
Right.
Carnival is one of those things where a lot of things have changed through the years of Carnival, and it's a lot of work. And when we look at what it's bringing in compared to, just looking at a mathematical
And
I think that's
Carnival
fair.
did
I would-
start as just a.
I would say though, it's a lot of fun.
Like 1.5.
Because when I do
Yeah.
PTO, like, people really want PTO to be a money-making machine, but it's supposed to be like, about like enriching the lives of the kids and the teachers. And so I definitely don't want it to be, and this is just me, but like, I don't want it to be purely like capitalist extraction machine. I want it to be giving to the kids, particularly, I grew up in an extremely poor family and my family couldn't pay for anything. Like making it so kids can enjoy things without their family having to have the funds to do a lot of that. So I think we really have to balance that. But I also recognize like it's a ridiculous amount of work for the board. I've seen that through Renee, more as president than not president, but even a ton as not president for everyone on the board. And so I actually, definitely respect like scaling back. But, for something like Carnival, I think it's like, yeah, like we either get the volunteers or we don't, or it can't happen. But, I'd hate to cut out like fun events that the kids can just go enjoy.
but maybe we do the carnival without all of the
All the extra, yeah.
extravagant.
I think it could just depend on what parents want to take on which things.
Mhm.
Not the board. Board can choose, but groups of parents taking on what they want to do and seeing how that ends up being.
I will say that we had a lot of high school volunteers this year, and that was amazing.
That was super great.
They took on all of the game rooms, and the cadets took on
All the food,
and it was.
that worked really, really
I think
well.
it was really nice for parents to be able to actually get to come and enjoy the carnival and have shorter shifts as volunteers, and just to not have to be stuck in.
And on the community note, a lot of those
high school volunteers were from the dual immersion program and spoke Spanish. And so we made sure that there were Spanish speakers at every game. So I thought that was awesome improvement and you can, everybody had someone they could communicate with.
And that swag sale.
And swag, that's right. And ticket sales and ticket sales, that's right. We had a lot of kiddos from there. And now there's like that community bridge between our high school DI program and our elementary school program.
Yeah, we just have to bring in the middle school somehow.
Yeah.
Do we though?
I had to write out.
My wife teaches middle school. I'm not- Might be adding more work.
They won't be doing ticket sales. Anything else for tonight?
We need people to want to review our financials at the end of the year. That can't be any of us.
And ideally not our spouses either.
Yeah.
Yeah, both because my wife is president, but also because I did it last year and I don't want to do it again.
What does it entail?
It's not super hard. You're just looking through all of the sort of financial statements and the bank statements and making sure the maths
Can
out.
we nominate Matt to do it all the time?
I'll nominate that.
Because sometimes it's just like little mistakes happen or the previous year something was a little off. And so then that feeds into what our calculations are. And so that's what we found last year was those couple little funky things. Yeah.
Matt will do that, that's good.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, he did great helping with the ticket sales, so thank you.
Good job.
Renee, I'm sure that you already know this, but from prior year, I was told that 3 people have to do it. It's just up to 3 people. So.
So yeah, if 2 other people want to, just let us know. Anybody online or that you talk to. Okay, thank you. We'll end at 7:23.
Thank you. You stealing my jobs?